I remember a story I heard of the one man I respected in India whom I knew personally, called Brother Bakht Singh. In the early days of his ministry, there was such a tremendous revival in Madras that a lot of many hundreds of people were converted, and women started wearing white saris and taking off their jewelry and really seeking to become wholehearted disciples of Jesus. And there were some men who were not converted, who were disturbed that their wives and daughters were getting converted and wholehearted. And so they tried to threaten Bakht Singh. And they sent a senior police officer to that church building where Bakht Singh lived. And this man with his big stripes and all on his shoulder came and said, "I'm from the police, I want to see Bakht Singh." You know, put a little scare into people. This is a common tactic in India. Get a police person to put a scare into it. So they went, and Brother Bakht Singh was kneeling down in prayer, as he is most of the time. And they whispered in his ear that the police officer, senior police officer, has come to see you. He said, "Tell him I'm talking to God, and I don't know when I'll finish. He's got to wait." I'm sure in his entire life that man had never heard a reply like that. People are scared of senior police officers. Not Bakht Singh. He lived before God. That is why I respect that man. He wasn't a great preacher, but he was a man of God. And I'm so thankful that he laid his hands on me when I was 2 months old, 2 months, and prayed for me that I would grow up to be a servant of God. And reconnected with him when I was 23, and I learned so much from that man. The influence of one man, and when that man was gone, that was the end of all those churches as far as spirituality is concerned. That's what you can be in your generation. It says David served his generation in the will of God, and he slept. And what the Lord has told me is, you can only serve your generation, and then you have to sleep or be taken up. My dear brothers, you belong to another generation than me, many of you. You have to serve your generation in the will of God. And I pray you will take up the challenge in these days and say, "Lord, I want to be a man like the Apostle Paul. I want to be a man like the Apostle John. I want to be a man like Sadhu Sundar Singh. I want to be a man like Brother Bakht Singh. I want to be like that for you. To be a burning bush and a light for you in this land. And count everything as lost compared to that. That's the only thing worth living for." Let's pray.